Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Video Call Pe Charcha. It's my honor to start my journey with the help of Father John Ravi, SJ Principal, St. Xavier School, Nefta. I would like to thank him for the same. Father, before starting, would you like to say something?
Yeah, this coronavirus pandemic, in a way, has brought a lot of positive things to the humanity. Though all were forced to remain inside, it has lot. It has taught us a lot of
Yeah.
beautiful lessons for life. The first one is we have learned to live together as a family, as a nation, and as a world. So far, we have been so busy doing so many things. There was hardly any time to be together as friends, as a family. So this was a beautiful moment to live together, re-establish the broken relationship, listen to others, share what you wanted to share. So that way, a new dimension has come into the social life of the entire humanity. And I have enjoyed every moment of this lockdown. It never deterred my spirit. I kept up my same spirit of working every day, preparing my training sessions, reading, reflection, and spend a lot of time listening to music and spend a lot of time in solitude. That way, I have, till today, I have known myself better during this lockdown period. So that way, I can say in one sentence, the lockdown period has been a moment of grace for most of us. Yes. Yes, Aryan, you can go ahead.
Okay, Father. So guys, our today's topic is coronavirus, a pandemic. So, Father, what, according to you, is an appreciable step taken by the Government of India till date regarding the pandemic?
Yes, let me answer this question from two perspectives. From safety and security perspective, we can say what the government did. The 40 days of lockdown, though it appeared to be rather frightening, it has helped us to save many lives. I can boldly say because of the social distancing, precautionary measures like hand wash and other movement limitation, we have been able to save many lives. Otherwise, many would have died. So that way, what the government did for the last 40 days till today is highly commendable, and I appreciate the Prime Minister and all the chief ministers of various states who cooperated with him and did the best. The second perspective is yes, it has been bit crude and violent in terms of the poor because they have been mostly affected since
Yes.
everything was locked down and many poor suffered very seriously. Many of them did not have enough food, ration, even proper material to take care of themselves. That way, economic point of view, it has affected our economy, our industries, our agricultural sector, and even big businessmen. It's not only in India, globally, including airlines, surface transportation, rail, everything is being affected. But what we can say is we have saved lives. So probably through smart moves and collective responsibility, we can bring back the economy, which has taken a backseat during this time.
Father, presently there are around 40,000 cases in India in spite of lockdown, strictness, etc. So, Father, how this situation could have been better and more
You
effective?
see, I would say having a population of 136 crore and only 40,000 cases or so, it is a commendable achievement by the government. You look at America, economically well off, medically well off. Look at their several lakhs of people have died, and several of them are tested positive. So in this scenario, India has done better, and some places, due to socio-economic reason, we couldn't enforce very strictly the social distancing and other safety measures. So that is why the number is high. And also, we have done a lot of testing where there have been more testing done, like Jodhpur, Jaipur, the number is high. There are some people who may be living with the virus, but they may not um, know that they are living with a virus. So that way, though it is 40,000, it may sound a bit high, but in my opinion, the number is not very alarming, and the government has done a commendable job.
Because of lockdown, lower section has suffered the most and I think it will continue to be the same. So how can we save the lower section of our society?
Yeah, I understand. I told you in my previous observation, it is the poor who have been mostly affected, the daily laborers and others. So government has come up with a lot of positives, like steps like depositing some money in their banks and giving them free food, free ration. But we may not be able to continue this very long. So we need to think of sustainable ways of supporting the poor, because they are going to suffer, and the things are not going to normalize very soon. This virus is going to be with us for some more month till a vaccination is found. This virus is going to remain with us in a secretive form or in the form of various other form. It is going to remain in our society. So the poor may be more vulnerable to get affected. We may expect more poor people to be affected as they start working in resuming their normal duty, etc. So the government and the private agencies should come forward, sort out very strategic, stable, sustaining a way of helping these people. You have to concretely think of financial help to them. And the second important thing is we have to get back the confidence of these people. A lot of migrant workers have gone back to their places, even their own places, native places. They have nothing to offer. They are going to suffer misery and poverty, hunger, etc. So the government should win back their confidence and promise them that things are going to be normal. That way, they should be able to resume their daily work as laborers wherever they have been working, because only through work and labor they will be able to sustain their own life also, because government cannot go on continuing this type of charitable approach very long. To some extent we can do. So people need to get back to their work. Yes, they have suffered a certain amount of uncertainty. Maybe they are very anxious what is going to happen, but those anxiety should be brought down, and people should be assured, and the employees should get them back and assure them that they are going to be looked after well. That way, we'll be able to help this lower section of our society.
Father, according to you, when will this situation get better? How is it possible to distribute and produce its vaccine and cure if made on a huge scale in this short period of time?
This is a very difficult question to answer. Nobody is sure of. Even the scientists who are involved in trying to find some vaccine for this COVID-19, they are not sure. So even if we find one immediately, it will take at least, if not more than a year, 12 to 14 months to get them to the market, where a common man will be able to procure this vaccine. So I would say the coming 2 years is going to be a time of uncertainty, time of anxiety, and a time of little fear also among the children. Now children are wondering when the schools are going to reopen. The grown-up children are anxious. What is going to happen to our college education, competitive exam? So everybody is anxious, and nobody is sure, because this is a situation where nothing can be certain about it. Even me as a principal, I am not sure when the schools will be in a position to reopen the school, given to the seriousness of this virus. So, at the same time, we are called to live as men and women of hope. We should not become frustrated. And I hear that many children are becoming depressed, disillusioned. I want to tell them, don't give up. We have gone through a lot of struggle, and this is one among the many. And we, as Indians, are known for our resilience. We will fight it out. Only thing is, we need to believe in ourselves, believe in our government, believe in our leaders, believe in ourselves, believe in our parents, believe our institution, that we will fight back collectively and emerge victorious in this situation. So we are not sure how long it's going to take to normalize the situation, but with optimistic outlook, I think these things should be better in a few months or in a few weeks.
Father, as we all know, students currently in board class and especially those who were to sit in competitive exams are stressing out a lot. So, what according to you should CBSE and other boards do so as to ease students and teachers?
Yeah. See, my observation would be like this. The CBSE should seriously think about the syllabus pertaining to class 9 to 12. Those are the senior classes where things matter. Class 1 to 8, somehow we can push in, and we can do certain amount of justice. Even the syllabus is not reduced, we can somehow manage. But whereas class 9 to 12, we need much more serious reflection, application, etc. So I would seriously request CBSE not to wait too long to give us the reduced form of syllabus. Syllabus has to be reduced because we have already lost almost 40 to 45 days of precious working days, where we could have covered a significant amount of syllabus. I think now we are not sure when we will reopen. See, these online classes, good. It's a good idea, innovative idea. But I'm not sure as an education is how far they are effective in terms of interaction, in terms of application. You see, in a classroom, children are able to connect with the teacher, clarify, strengthen, and the concepts, etc. That doesn't happen in online classes. So, though we have managed to engage the senior student in our through online classes, I'm not sure how much they have been effective. They must have acquired certain knowledge, but to what extent, I am not very sure. So, in this scenario, even if we reopen in July or August, whichever month, so we should be able to cope up with a reduced amount of syllabus. So that way, we will be able to do justice to these students. I will earnestly request CBSE to seriously instruct the concerned person to do a reduction in the syllabus of class 9 to 12.
So, Father, according to you, how can our country recover from the economic loss that occurred due to this pandemic?
Yeah, I told you the economic loss incurred by the country has been very, very enormous. It's a huge amount. Somebody said other day, we have gone back 20 to 30 years economically. We have gone back instead of progressive. We have regressed. We have gone back. So government is also struggling. You can see some of the decision taken by the government how to overcome this difficulty. So this is where not only just the Prime Minister or the concerned minister, collectively we need to support. We have to strengthen our agricultural sector, and we should think more and more of instead of importing things, we try to strengthen the concept of make in India. That should be though Prime Minister launched this program long years back, but somehow I feel it has not taken its roots deeply. So we need to strengthen, like for example, we should minimize purchasing things from countries like China and other countries, because our Indians are capable, intellectually gifted. They may not be well equipped in terms of English, etc., but we have a very bright brains in rural part of our country. We need to identify them, identify our agricultural sector, empower our farmers, empower the small scale industries. That way, we can make India. It is going to be a struggle, not for just a year, sometime, but we can emerge economically as one of the superpowers in the days to come, provided we encourage our own men, our own men and women who are capable, and as I said, minimize the import and let us export many more things. Other countries should come forward to buy things from us. So the quality control and other economic dimensions should be well taken care. And I'm sure with a huge population of 136 crore, India has a bright future provided our financial management and the personal management takes a proper. We should leave behind our political agenda and we should work for the common good, which is the well-being of every citizen of our country. That way, I see it's going to be a struggle, but if we all of us fight it together collectively, contribute our share, India can emerge from this economic slow down.
How much time will it take?
Yes, this is. I am not an economist, but still, I would say it will take at least a few years to bounce back. If not 5, at least I see 5 to 10 years time it will take. If all of us fight it together, let us fight it out, contribute our share, join our hands with one another, especially the lower strata of the society. Even the poor can contribute. The daily labor is also very innovative. We have a lot of domestic products which can be of very good international values. So this is where all the economies should come together and put their minds together and work towards. So with regard to time frame, it may take at least 5 to 10 years in my opinion.
China is responsible for this. Do you think that China is responsible
you see,
for all that happening?
Very difficult to answer this question. We are not sure. This is what we read in the media, print media and electronic media. I constantly listen to Beyond News Channel. So there seem to be a lot of evidence to show that China's hand in the spread of this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. They were aware of this virus and somehow they did not alert the rest of the country. This is what America is also blaming and the other countries also. And this is where WHO, World Health Organization, has to play a very, very proactive role in this. They need to see WHO should coordinate globally to see who has been responsible, identify the culprits, and you should punish them because it has created a huge loss, not only in terms of economy, it has affected the psyche of entire humanity. A lot of people have died, you see, and life is a gratuitous gift from God. Nobody has got a right to snatch away, but this virus has snatched away a lot of innocent life. So the culprit should be identified. I'm not sure which country or which personnel, but this is a time as we are grappling with this difficult time. At the same time also, our investigative agencies should spend time, quality time, try to identify the source from where it came and how it spread so that such mistakes are not repeated in future. If you don't take any preventive measures, it might occur again after a few decades, after a few years. So we want our future generation to be safe and secure. So WHO, along with the other agencies, to investigate, should find and bring the culprits to the task.
The WHO is, but it is supporting China. We have seen in
that's what they are saying. I'm not sure. See,
we should not
we we should not blame WHO without knowing the data with us. This is the Americans are blaming WHO that they are in collision with China, but I am not very sure because we cannot blame any international organization like WHO without data, without evidence. But if they have done, then they should be held responsible. But at the same time, we should find out. And I am still hopeful that WHO, as they have been doing a lot of positive contribution to the world down the ages, and they should play a much more pivotal role at this juncture and help the countries to live healthy and help them to procure the vaccine at the earliest.
Yeah. So, will it affect the placement of graduates in the country? If yes, how and how long will it keep affecting?
I told you, unemployment is already on rise. Before this pandemic, India had already had a quite significant percentage of unemployment. I have no hesitation to say this pandemic is going to add to the number, that number. Many youngsters will find it difficult even to get not only a government job, also private job. So this is where our youth need to persevere, and they need to believe in themselves, not to give up hope. And I would request the government and the private agencies who are capable of creating more job vacancies, they should do so that our educated youth do not lie down useless at home. And because they are capable, they are educated, and we should use them for constructing a new India. And this is where the job opportunities should be provided more and more, not only by the government and even by the government sector, the private sector.
Again for how long will it affect? And for how long will it affect?
This is again, I'm not an astrologer to predict, but it is going to take quite some time. It is going to take quite some time to normalize the situation. Maybe we as Indians have to struggle for a few years to come. That is going to be a struggle.
Further, people are comparing this pandemic to be same as Spanish flu. The condition at that time was also considered the same. Do you also think that it is similar to the Spanish flu?
More or less similar, yeah. But the Spanish flu in 1918 did not have such a effect in terms of magnitude in this wider scale. This pandemic seemed to have affected almost the entire human race. In my opinion, over more than out of 200 plus countries, almost 186 plus countries are affected by this pandemic. Whether it be African continent, whether it be Asia, whether it be Pacific region, or Europe, or America, everybody seemed to have been affected. So the effect is enormous. The loss is enormous. So it is going to be that's why Americans said, even we did not lose this many people even after World War II. But today we have several thousands of people have died, and several lakhs of people are affected by this coronavirus. So that way, the loss has been very large and huge, and it is going to take some time for the world also to settle in.
So, Father, what all activities do you suggest to people of different age groups in the lockdown period?
I would tell from my own life. You see, I used to be a very active person. My life has been quite active for several years. So this lockdown never deterred my spirit. So, like for example, right from morning till evening, always I kept myself busy. So my advice to people would be, plan out the day. Plan out the day. Just sleeping longer, it is not a solution. Yes, you can spend more time in sleeping. Have some pro-life activities, like spend significant time in some of the hobbies like cooking, gardening, and drawing, learning some musical instruments, or even you can learn to be a singer, or working from home, some online, you can learn some of the how to prepare your online classes, online seminar, attend. There are a lot of seminar going on webinar through webinar, so you can listen to some of the prominent speakers. Even Zoom, this app which we are using right now, also tremendously popular. So what I'm trying to say is, plan out your day, set your priorities, spend time in creative activity. Also, I would request to spend little time in with yourself, half an hour to 1 hour. I wouldn't, you call it a prayer, I would call it a moment of solitude. Just be with yourself. Close your eyes, go to a place, your room where nobody is there. Just close your eyes, take a comfortable posture, and take little breathing exercise and spend time. See what God wants you through your life. Listen to the silent steps. Important. Very often we are so busy, we don't listen to the voice of God. So spending time in solitude, that way you come to know yourself, you come to know what God wants you to do. That way your faith dimension also gets strengthened. So it is a time for you to rebuild your faith life. Faith in the person of God who created us, and a certain amount of surrendering. Our ego will come down. We'll become more simple. Our arrogance will come down. Today, all of us have become arrogant, self-centered. So this is a call for us to become more humble and um, uh, a little more simple in our lifestyle. So I would request, whether be young or old, spend little time in prayer or with yourself, moment of solitude. And finally, I would say, spend more time with the family. Talk to them, listen to your children, listen to your parents, listen to, why I used to say, intentional speaking and active listening have got a lot of formative values. Very often we don't listen what our parents want to say. Our parents don't want to listen what the children want to communicate. This is a time to spend a lot of time in talking, listening. That way we can rebuild the family life also stronger. So these are some of my suggestions. And sleep well and eat healthy food. Unnecessarily don't move out where it is not required. That way you will, at the same time, don't become victims of boredom. And I don't want to listen to the word children depression mein chale gaye. That is a man-made concept. For me, depression is a man-made. If you are capable of handling your life, nobody can make you depressed. I don't want to see anyone. All children should be smiling, cheerful. I know it is not an ideal situation. We like to move out, go and play, swim around, but for some more time we need to be patient. But these some of the activities which I have suggested will help you to remain positive. Remain positive, think positive, and believe in yourself.
And Father, what all values should we all learn from the current lockdown period? There are many positive aspects also which we found because of this lockdown.
One positive thing is it has united all our families together. So people who have been working far and wide have come together. This lockdown has helped to spend time. The physical space we have been experiencing with one another has been strengthened. Secondly, this lockdown period, this pandemic, has taught us that it is the God who is the author of life. We are only creatures. We cannot outsmart God and take His place. We cannot become creator. So we need to remain humble. We need to know our limitation. And this invites us to become more responsible in our behavior. In our behavior with the environment, with others, with the creatures other side. And we learn to coexist with others. We have somehow become very dominant type. We think we are the only creatures who can give order to others. No, this has showed we have to call to coexist with other creatures, give them their space, and be a more caretaker rather than oppressor. And that way, it has taught us to become more humble and accept our limitation. And if we take care of the earth, Mother Earth also will look after us. Otherwise, it is going to hit us. And I believe this pandemic is one way of violent reaction by the Mother Earth that shows that we have been irresponsible in our behavior. So it is a time to mend our ways.
So, Father, what steps should our country take to get back to the old life which we all had before this pandemic or this lockdown?
You see, for example, today, slowly some relaxation is being done. People started moving where it is necessary. I'm sure after 17th of May, some more relaxation will come. But we should be careful. We should be responsible in our social behavior, maintaining the social distancing. So the steps, which are the steps the government is going to take, it should be move towards winning the confidence of the people. They should win back the confidence. And people have become so suspicious. What will happen? Children have become suspicious. Travelers have become suspicious. That's why everything is locked down. And if each one of us become more responsible in our behavior, in our words, in our attitude, the country can bounce back very easily. Though we have a very huge population, 136 crore, each one should say that I am going to behave in a responsible manner. I'm going to maintain a social distance, and I'm not going to spit unnecessarily, and I'm not going to behave irresponsibly. And if each one, now from the government point of view, they should start, as I told you, pro people movement, pro people projects, where more and more poor villages can be engaged in productive activities like China. If you see rural China, everyone is involved in manufacturing, creating something. That way, it gives them confidence, and also they become part of our economical struggle, and also they become a contributors towards our Indian economy. So the steps should be towards winning the confidence of people back, bring out a certain plan, projects, short-term plan, long-term plan, with the help of economies, etc., so that we are able to bounce back economically, socially, culturally, and very importantly, the educational institution, we should try to start at the earliest. I know it is going to be difficult because each school, each of our institution in India has several thousand of students. I know it is a concern, and the children are very vulnerable in age, so they can catch this virus very easily. They can become victims. We don't want any damage to our children. At the same time, this educational institution also should find out innovative ways of starting the academic session early, so that we can win back the confidence of children as well.
Okay. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Aryan. Thank you, Aryan, for your
today.
initiative. Surely. God bless you. Thank you.
Anything else, Father, you want to say? Anything else?
Fine.
You want to say?
Thank you. Nice initiative. Your questions were very well phrased. Thank you so much.
Okay, Father. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.